welcome comic book nerds and nerdettes to the Second Print Comics Patreon page. And if you have found yourself here, it means you're probably a fan of comic books, you're probably a fan of our podcast, or looking to be a fan of our podcast if you're one of our very early patrons, because our very first patrons are going to get access to this program before anybody else. But I first want to introduce myself. I am Mark Claire, and my co-host here is Remzo W. Martinez.
Folks, I'm not saying you're better than the average listener, but you're objectively more awesome than the average listener. I think that's fair. Is that
by
fair?
Being here, yes. Just by being
just
here
a smidge. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we, as we've said before, we mentioned in our episode 0, I encourage people to check that out. We really want this show to be fan-based, to be fan-centered, fan-produced, and we have based a lot of our Patreon levels and tiers and rewards around that concept. So why don't we just start going through the tiers and let everybody know what they can find here on Patreon, here at the Second Print Podcast Patreon. Our first level is the most basic level. This is the $5 a month level. It's called the True Believer level. We got a nice little portrait of Stan Lee there for you. And at this level, you get early access to episodes, to our new episodes, including our very first episodes. That will be up here before they are on the public feeds on iTunes and Stitcher and all of that stuff. You also get exclusive access to our members-only Facebook group. That is the Second Print Comics Fan Zone, where you can take part in exclusive polls, conversations. We'll do a lot of members-only live streams in there. You also will get access to some patron-only segments, special rants, video content, all sorts of stuff. Whenever we feel the urge to put something out there, our patrons will always get it first.
Absolutely. And folks, you know, we're not trying to say we're big league or anything, but Mark and I have our professional lives. We have other stuff constantly grabbing our attention. If you want to reach out to us, of course, you can always message us. We love to talk to you. We love to hear what you're thinking, what you like, what you don't like. If you have something to complain about, please jump off a cliff. But this is really where we're going to talk directly to you. This is where you're going to get to really collaborate and talk and just reminisce with all the other fans about the topics you love. So if you're just thinking about, do I want to do this? Understand that your listening experience is going to be so much better when you actually get to share it with others. Happiness is only real when shared, and it's really real when you're joining this group at this level.
Absolutely. What about these other levels? What do they got next? If $5 is just not enough to send us, what are their options?
Absolutely. We've got our second level at $15 per month. This is the Journey into Mystery level. This is for those that are willing to commit to the cause. Welcome to the Crusades of Fandom. This is where you're going to go ahead and get everything from the previous level, but you're going to be able to take part in monthly Zoom hangouts with Mark and I, as well as other members of the group, other fans, other listeners, the people that love what you love and want to be able to, you know, fight and argue and debate about the things that we love debating about. It's going to be so much fun. If you want to be able to talk about, you know, stuff going on in the comics, latest controversies, because we all love those Rob Liefeld controversies. You want to be able to really, you know, get that therapeutic session about the things that are important to us, but other people hear it and they're like, what are you talking about? This is your opportunity to do it.
Exactly. And then we have what may be my favorite level, at least so far, because they get better and better and better. This is the Epic Crossover level at $25 a month. We already have our first patron as we record this. That's how popular this level is already. But at this level, you'll, of course, receive everything from the previous tiers, the bonus content, the early access. You'll get to hop on the Zoom calls once a month with us. But you will also receive a couple things. One, you'll receive a limited edition show poster signed by one of the hosts. Which one? Who knows? You'll have to wait and find out.
Please accept the mystery.
You'll get that right away. And then you'll also get every 4 months, because it is a little pricey. We can't do it every month. But if you remain at this level, every 4 months, Remzo and myself will handpick a mystery hardcover. None of these floppy cover books, a hardcover graphic novel, and mail it to you directly. So if you stay with us for a year, you'll get 3 of those mailed to you directly, in addition to all the other perks that you get for being a Patreon. So I love this level. This is the one I'm most excited about, getting people interested in new stories that they might not be familiar with, and being able to load their bookshelf with these really nice hardcovers.
Absolutely. And I mean, this really fulfills a childhood dream of mine. I always wanted to be Santa Claus, except slavery's not cool. Neither is living in the cold. And last I checked, breaking into people's houses is considered a crime. So this gives each of us the opportunity to deliver you something that you're gonna love in a hardcover. Because why do anything else? We do it out of love. And because of that, this level is really special for me. Not just because it's at $50 a month, which really helps us amplify what we can do so we can continue to expand and grow and double down on the content that you love consuming. But it's also something that if you're a comic book purist like us, it's a little extra special. This is the Kirby Club, dedicated to the All-Father himself, Jack Kirby. At this level, you get everything from the previous levels that we mentioned, and this is where you really get to be the captain of your own Second Print Comics podcast experience. After 3 months at this level, yes, I'm talking to you, can enter the queue to join the show as a producer for a special fan-produced bonus episode we release each month. So you're not only getting the regular show and everything else that we're going to be doing for all the previous levels, you actually get to collaborate with us to produce a bonus episode.
Exactly. You will be the producer. We will step back and let you take the reins and let you guide us on our own journey into mystery. Although that was referencing a different level, you get the point. We're very
excited. You get the puns.
You get all the puns, you nerds. We're very excited about the Kirby Club. Like we said, we really want to involve the fans in the direction of the show. The more people we get at that Kirby Club level, the more content we'll be able to produce. And, as we earn more and more money on Patreon, we're going to be doing more and more putting back into the show. We actually set a goal, and we do have one more level I'll mention, but I just want to mention this goal. And we'll be adding more goals as we go along, but we do have a goal here at $500 a month. The original impetus of the show was not an interview show. It's just Remzo and myself riffing on the comics that have influenced us over the years. But when we reach $500 a month on Patreon, we will begin to include a monthly interview show. And we have a lot of contacts in the comic book industry, a lot of potential guests lined up for this. So we can't dedicate all of our time to it right now because, as Remzo said, we're pulled in a lot of directions in life. We have a lot going on. So as we make money through this Patreon, as we make money on the show, then we can justify spending more of that time to produce even more content for you. And that will only continue as the Patreon continues to grow, as our fans continue to grow, and we will continue to do more and more and put more and more into this show as the fans dictate it. And one more level, of course, we need to mention. This is the big one. This is our highest level. A lot of podcasts have levels at $100 a month, $150, $250 a month. This is our absolute highest level. $75 a month, you get to join the Infinity Gauntlet level. And what's great about this level, of course, you get everything you get from the other levels. You get all the bonus content, all the exclusive access, the Zoom calls. You get the poster. You get the hardcovers every 4 months. You get to produce a show every 3 months. Or not every 3 months necessarily, but you get to be get in that queue to be a producer in the Kirby Club. And at the Infinity Gauntlet level, for only another $25 a month, we will give you a brief mention at the end of every show. We're going to go through the Infinity Gauntlet level every show, and we won't just name your name. We will mention anything you'd like us to mention, whether it's your own website, whether it's a podcast you have, whatever it is you want, we will mention there at the end of the show. And as this show grows, that's going to become a greater and greater and greater and greater deal because you're going to get that name, whatever it is you're trying to sell, whatever it is you want to drive people to traffic-wise. Maybe it's comic book related, maybe it's nerd related, maybe it's something else entirely. Whatever it is, more and more people are going to be hearing that mentioned at the end of every single episode. So I'm really excited about that one. I want to use this platform to not only help fans give us input and help us grow the show and move the direction, but also help our fans grow their projects. And that's what we intend to do through the Infinity Gauntlet level.
And I have to say it, you will be inevitable.
Exactly.
I could not say it at this level.
No, you had to. Any other final words before we bounce out and just tell people to just go send us money?
Folks, this is your show by fans, for fans, because of fans. And this is really something where you're going to get way more out of it than we will in some cases. What we get out of it is the fun, the adventure, the journey, the experiences that we'll get together. But for every Justice League, they need Wayne Industries sending them that pocket change. For all the Avengers, Quinjets that they crash, and for everything the Hulk also screws up, and for all the beer that Thor consumed, I hope he checked out into rehab at the end of Endgame. They all need some Tony Stark walking around money. So please help us out. Remember, these levels are True Believer at $5, Journey into Mystery at $15, Epic Crossover at $25, The Kirby Club, shout out to the All-Father looking down at us right now, and Infinity Gauntlet, where
The
you
inevitable
are
level. We should just call that the inevitable level. What is inevitable, my friends, is that this podcast is going to be a blast, and we are excited to have you with us. So please do check out all of our offerings, and of course, find the podcast everywhere you find podcasts: iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. You know how this stuff works. You're nerds. You know how to find podcasts. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey.
As always, I'm Remster W. Martinez.
And I'm Mark Claire.
Read comics, change the world. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.